Hi there, Rachael-Jayne Groover here, and welcome to Awaken TV. This is your weekly tip or practice on purpose, presence, practical spirituality, and many other areas and ideas around your personal and spiritual development. And this week, I wanted to talk about feeling emotions and actually put in a few cents worth around when not to feel your emotions fully. Most of us have got to the place where we know, or at least conceptually know, that we are not our thoughts. We can see our thoughts arise and they pass by, and yes, sometimes we grab onto them or they grab onto us and take us for a ride, but that we know that our thoughts are a psychological process and it's not really who we are. But on the path of spiritual awakening and personal awakening, many of us can get stuck into I'm not my thoughts, but I am my feelings and I am my emotions. And that's more of the authentic me. But that is also not you. And there are times to feel your emotions fully because they support the process of awakening. And then there are other times where I don't think it's very good at all. So I wanted to give you two times or two ways I think it's not helpful to feel your feelings, and then another way that I think two ways that it would be good to feel your feelings. The first one is to not feel your feelings fully. And what I mean by that, before I go in, is to notice that a feeling is arising, to notice that an emotion is arising, and then to process it or feel it deeply or let it sort of take over you so you're not denying it or suppressing it. And the first reason, or the first time that I think it's not helpful to go into that, is when the emotion is very habitual, meaning you have something happen, you think a particular thought, and then an emotion follows it that is almost always what follows it. For example, the other day I was lifting something too heavy and I tweaked my back. And I have a history of a bad back injury many, many years ago now. And as my back started to go and I was like, okay, what's going on here? Almost immediately, tears started coming to my eyes. And as they did, I caught that this is habitually what used to happen. Is when I would feel my back, I would feel discouraged, depressed, a lot of sadness would come up. And so that was coming up, and I knew that this wasn't the time for me to go into feeling the sadness and feeling the tears and feeling all that. It was just a physical, biological, emotional response that was a habit. And you have a lot of habits that just follow the way you think and the way you behave. And we're trying to shift those habits, not go into them more and just recreate a stronger habit. The second time or experience I think that is not helpful to feel your emotions is if an emotion or feeling is showing up right at the time that you're supposed to do something important, that you're supposed to do something that your heart is calling you to do, that you've been putting off, procrastinating. You've been saying, oh, I don't know if I'm good enough for this, or I'm scared of this. You've created this thing that's important, and you've been going around it, like doing things around it. You've made safe problems to stop you from doing that thing. Maybe it might be a challenging conversation with somebody, and you've created all these safe problems, like, oh, I don't have time, or oh, I don't know what to say, and they keep you safe. Or you wanted to do something in your business which was an edge for you, and that's been important, but you've created all these little problems to just not do it, right? So that's what I mean by something important, and you're about to do it, and all of a sudden you have this emotional response or emotional thing. It may be tied to that thing that's important, or it may not be tied to that thing that's important. And that is when I would question very deeply to go in and process and feel fully your emotions, because your emotional body is a very, very good, clever way to keep a safe problem in place and not do the thing that you are really wanting to do. So I'm always aware of that right before I say I'm going to do something, and emotion takes over and it sort of hijacks me for a little bit of time. Like, well, I can now focus on my emotions versus the thing that's really important. Now let's shift to the times where it is probably important or worthwhile feeling your feelings fully, like letting them have you and to be processing them. And the first one is when you feel like something has occurred and there is emotion running through you, and it's not discharging, it's not moving, it's just stuck. It's like your body's flooded, you're stuck in this emotion and it's very heavy. In those moments, I find it very helpful to release. And that's not for everybody, but for me, it's very helpful. The other day, I was coming out of 2 back-to-back workshops, and I was having a conversation with Dada, and all this emotion started coming up, and it was quite intense. And I was trying to talk about it, and that wasn't helping. And then I left the conversation and I just was feeling this, and I got that sense, just feel it. And I did that. I felt so much better after. And the key to feeling it fully is not getting lost in it. You know, I stay connected to my vertical core, my body somehow, so I can stay in contact with presence or awareness or the infinite field of potential or God, and I can stay connected to that as I feel this release. Then it can actually release without just becoming another emotional habit. And the other time, which I find really helpful to fully process, meaning feel my emotions, is when it feels very unfamiliar, like something's coming up that doesn't even feel like me. And the reason why that can be helpful to just feel and allow is because when it doesn't feel like you, it's not so much the habit, it's not so much the ego mind, ego body connection that's just trying to have you feel feelings. It's unfamiliar. It might be a inner child or a shadow part or something that's coming out of your unconscious in order to become more conscious for you. So this week, just take this on as you, I'm sure, feel some feelings around certain things, and to notice when the emotion arises, what category is it falling into? Is it falling into habit? Is it falling into a way to keep you away from what's important? Or is it falling into the unfamiliar or the time to release? And all are very, very different. So don't get caught in, I am my emotions and I've got to process everything. Not always helpful. If you have any comments about this, of course, always post a comment below or question. Thank you so much for watching. And if you want even more awesome resources to help you awaken your impact, your purpose, your spirituality, head on over to Rachael-Jayne.com and sign up at the top of the page for email updates. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you next week on Awaken TV.